and welcome to SOS Stories of Survivor. I'm Serina Dansker, your host. It is my absolute honor and privilege to welcome Marleny Cruz today. She is the founder and owner of SOS Radio.live and a beautiful soul. She's going to share with us her journey today. And welcome, Marleny.
Thank you. It is an honor for me to be a part of your show. I'm so excited for stories of survivors. I'm so excited for your journey, and it is an absolute pleasure to be here as a guest.
It's great. It's such a wonderful platform so we could talk about things that really matter. Our mental health, our courage, everything that we've gone through in our lives. And you have an incredible story to
Thank you.
share. And I'd love to have our listeners learn a little bit about your background before we get into your story and where you grew up and tell us
Yeah.
a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So I was born in the Dominican Republic and raised in Queens. I came to the United States when I was 3 years old, right? And I was raised by a strong single mom. She is a warrior. She is the one that I get that warrior spirit from, right? So yeah, it was really hard growing up because I grew up in a very humble environment. But although it was difficult because I grew up really humbly, it was also very good because it really showed me the value of everything I have, the value of hard work, the value of like whatever you put into things, that's what you're gonna get. So I really had a very good foundation to prepare me for what I'm doing today.
That's incredible. I mean, resilience comes in all different forms. And it's funny because, some people, they fall down, they wipe the dirt off their knees, they get back up, while others, they just don't have the energy to do that. Is there a pivotal time in your life where you can recall something where you just had to make that decision to get back up and
Absolutely. So, what got me into the entrepreneurial world to begin with, I was working for corporate America. I was earning very, very well, but I was not happy. There was certain things that were happening that weren't fair. I said, enough. I'm not putting up with this anymore. So, I made a very difficult decision, right? I decided to venture out on my own as a business owner. Mind you, I've never been in business before, right?
wow.
So this is the first time I venture out into business. I don't know what I'm doing, but I had that desire. I had that calling. I had that, kind of that inner feeling that allows you to kind of be enthused and full of energy. And that seemed to be enough because 15 years later, I'm still here, right?
That's amazing. I mean, you are a powerhouse. I mean, I marvel and I am so inspired by your journey. So how old were you when you came from the Dominican? Did you study there? Did you study here? What brought you into corporate America and then made you make that pivotal change? I mean, it's just so amazing.
You want the details, huh?
I do.
Well, I was 3 when I came, and at the end of the day, I was so young. Obviously, then I didn't know the difference. But my mom, growing up, I've seen my mom go through a lot. I've seen her as a single mom go through all these difficulties. She had to pay rent on her own. She had to she had to take 2 jobs to even bring us here. So
Yeah.
as you grow up and as you mature, you're able to see these sacrifices for what they are, right? They are very, very difficult to do. She made it look pretty. She made it look easy. But
Isn't that
now,
incredible?
as a single mom that I am, now I'm looking at her like, you are a mega woman.
So she was your role model. I mean, I have a
Right.
very similar situation. My mom was a single mom too. And so that relationship or that role model that you have in her
Yeah.
really kind of inspired you and molded you to be that fierce, go-getter that you are.
Absolutely. And that coupled with the fact that I did not grow up with my dad. I've seen my
Okay.
dad in my life twice,
Hmm.
right? So that coupled with her support, I think allowed me to understand and feel I really need to, tend to myself. I really need to make sure that I'm well off and nobody else is going to do that, only myself, right? That kind of gave me that spirit of I can do it. I'm independent. I'm a warrior, right? And is very, very necessary. As I evolve and grow, I see how important that foundation has been. So I don't give up in those difficult times. We're going to get there, right? But
Yeah.
there's been
Well,
some times.
that's really, kudos to you, because a lot of times growing up without a dad, or as with the single mom, you do fall into things with self-doubt. Do I have what it takes to be a success? And you tend to do a little bit of soul searching and self exploration. Did you find that there was a period of your life where you had to really discover where your strengths are and your passions, where they lied?
Absolutely. And it's funny because when I started business, I started in the health and wellness industry. I opened a spa in Bloomfield, New Jersey. And, I didn't start in media. So, not always the path that you choose that you think you want to get into is the path that you end up in, or is the path that you end up being expert or have your superpower in, right?
Right, right.
Sometimes life presents you your superpower in very interesting ways, to say the least. So,
Yeah, and I love the fact that you had a spa, because that's all about like self-love and healing, and
yeah,
so you're promoting that, even
yeah.
even when you didn't know your superpower yet.
Yes. However, the irony of that, right? When you are a giver, right? When you are in the industry of serving others in any which way, you tend to sometimes forget about serving yourself. And for many, many
Mhm.
years, I was serving others. I was in the wellness industry, which obviously focuses on self care, but that self care was external, right?
Oh, yeah.
For many, many years, I did not, focus on myself. I burnt myself out to the point where 7 or 8 years into my business, I said, I can't do this anymore. I'm tired. I'm drained. I want a change of industry. So that's where
Wow.
my real journey began.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's just that you figured that out, even just blows me away, that you realize that you've been giving and giving and giving, and yet that was the catalyst for you to start your
Yeah.
next phase on your journey.
Oh, but wait,
And
there's more.
ooh, ooh.
There was a monkey wrench thrown on the way, right? Because it's really interesting how sometimes life presents you some challenges, and these challenges, at first you look at them and you're like, why me? Right?
Yeah.
You question yourself, you question if you're religious, you question God, you question,
Hmm.
so many things. However, these things serve us if we allow them to serve us. So let me go back and tell a little bit of that part of my story.
Okay.
So I was in business for 7 years and I decided to change. I said, I'm tired, I'm drained. Let me see what else is out there. An opportunity presented itself for me where there was somebody that was selling an ESL school, English as a second language.
Okay.
And I
Got it.
said, I'm an educator at heart. I love educating, and why not? Let me see how this goes. So as the entrepreneur I am, right, as the risk taker I am, I said, I'm jumping full in.
Good.
I closed the spa and I moved everything I then had to the institute. So I had an internet radio station that was doing tremendously well. I moved it over. I had a nonprofit organization then called the Young Adult Role Model Academy. and it brought different after school programs to schools. I brought that over as well. I was
Wow.
doing a lot of public speaking, a lot of emceeing, a lot of political events. I was very well known in the community. So I brought everything I had and I said, I'm going to make this my own. I'm going to make this my home and we'll build from there.
Mm.
Little did I know, life had a very little surprise for me, right? So, 2 years into this practice, here I am. I'm rolling up my sleeves every single day. I'm making it better. I'm changing things. And then COVID happens,
Oh gosh.
right? Yeah. Need
Oh
I say more?
no. Oh my gosh. What
COVID
did you
happened.
do? Oh,
So, as you may understand, I was a single mom of a then 1 year old, and it was just very devastating for me. The main business that was then bringing in the majority of the income was coming from the ESL classes, and these students, this particular service did not transition well from in person to virtual.
yeah, no, I can
And
imagine.
as we know, everything that didn't transition well during the pandemic did not do well,
Oh, yeah, no.
right? So the school is closed. I couldn't get into the building, so I couldn't do my shows. I couldn't do the radio station.
They shut down the building and everything?
Everything. I could
Oh
not
my
get in,
gosh. All
right?
right. So now you're bringing out the financial advisor in me because my past education and my past career was, of course, as a financial advisor. And I'm thinking, all right, but you had to have like 6 months worth of savings for the rainy day fund, right?
Thank God for that.
Oh, good. Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
Thank God for that. And thank God for my family as well that stepped in and helped as
Oh,
well and supported. However, that money is not going to last forever,
I
right?
know.
We
Um,
know that when you're not putting in and you're only taking out,
yeah.
that's not going to last forever. So the story short to make a long story short, I was in a pivotal moment where I had to decide, Marleny, what are you going to do now? You lost everything. You're a single mom. Your daughter is 1 year old. You can't tell your daughter, baby, I don't have for your milk, right?
Oh my gosh.
So there was a lot of tears. There was a lot of pain. There was just a lot going on. And remember, during these times, we were all very sensitive, the whole world.
Oh
Right?
yeah, everything was shut down. I mean, it was a bad time for mental health,
Yes,
really bad time.
absolutely. So one day I was in the shower. I don't know what it is with water. There's something spiritual, right, and holy about
It
water.
is, yes.
And I'm in the shower and I happen to hear, I kid you not, I'm not crazy. I happen to hear science of survival. And I
Wow.
hear it loud and clear. I hear it as if somebody was right next to me talking. And I'm like, wow, that took me aback a little bit. I'm like, that's never happened to me before. What's going on? You know? And seconds later, I visualize something like your beautiful sign back there, SOS.
Hmm.
And I'm like, science of survival, while everybody's trying to survive, SOS means help. I'm like, there's something here, right?
Wow.
So I took it as a sign. I took it as a divine, intervention. And I worked day and night to create, what you see now.
Wow. I mean, it's so amazing to me that you were in the shower and you were thinking of uh, the SOS came to you, the brand came to you, because I have a little bit of a similar situation. I've, of course, lost my son Scotty by suicide, and I was working in a retreat where I was doing some writing and narrative healing, and when I was thinking and meditating, to me came the spirit of Scotty. as a name. And I said, I'm going to abbreviate it to SOS because SOS means help. And that's where we need mental health and mental help. And so the spirit of Scotty is my driving force behind the SOS brand for me. It's like Kismet. We're meant
Yeah.
to be together.
Yes. Yes. When I first met you and I heard that, the SOS, I was really, I felt a mixture of emotions, so excited, but in awe. I was in awe. I was like, wow, like how the universe, God, the energy, everything kind of bring us together with a similar vision and a similar purpose. That is really cool.
And it's
Really, really.
not a coincidence. I mean, I believe that this is meant to be. And
Yeah.
it's so amazing. So let's take a step back and let's talk about you're dedicating your life basically to helping others heal. I mean, through this brand, through the science of survival, you are really reaching listeners and a whole network of people, trying to give them the one thing we all need, and that's hope.
Yeah.
And can you talk a little bit about, if you could speak directly to somebody who is listening right now and offer them, some kind of rope or a bit of hope, what would you tell them if they're going through tough times or the darkness that we all face?
Yeah.
You
Wow.
know,
That's a very deep question.
I know.
And you are also somebody that can answer that very deeply because you've
Yeah.
gone, through your own difficulties and challenges. But we all have different ways of reacting to things. We all have our different strong points and our different weak points. So the number one thing that I would say, know thyself, right?
Yeah.
That old saying, know yourself. Know what are the things that are not the greatest for you, and how you handle those, right? How you handle stress, how you handle pain. And why is it important? One of the things that kept me going is the fact that I knew myself. I knew what are the things that I could do to get me away from the negative thinking, to get me away from the giving up, to get me away from those times where sometimes the mind and the brain takes over, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or it could be the other way around. Your emotions can take over, right?
Mhm.
So that's one of the number one thing, know yourself,
I
right?
think that's so important. I think that's really, really true. You really need to know who you are and what you're capable of, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. And sometimes you don't know what you're capable of, but if you know your weaknesses and your strengths
Yeah.
now as it stands, and you have another very important thing to remember, this too shall pass,
Oh,
right?
yes.
This too shall pass.
We forget that. I mean, it's you're going in it, you're in the midst of it, and you're so close to the tree that you don't even see the forest behind it. I find that I believe with all of my heart and soul that if we could just put into perspective what we're going through and try and say in 5 years from now, what kind of impact is this going to have on my life? You
Yeah.
know, and not sweat the small stuff as much. But it's hard to do because I think we're all trained to do that.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely easier said than done, right? We don't want to make this sound like, oh, it's a walk in the park. No, there's pain, there's difficulty, this uncomfortable feeling, there's challenges, right? Different things are going to come up. You're going to have good days, you're going to have very bad days, you're going to have days where, you are right in the middle.
Oh
However,
God, yeah.
in order for you to stay on track, you need to have a vision and a purpose. You need to know your why, right?
Yeah.
For you, your why is keeping that spirit of Scotty alive,
Yes.
right? Keeping that kind of beautiful, soul of his alive, and being able to help other people that are going through similar things or different things, but challenges.
Yes, sharing your journey. I mean, I'm keeping Scott's spirit alive, but it's also very healing for me to share my story and to talk
Absolutely.
about what I've gone through. And as I know it is for you to talk about your, your hardships too. I mean, losing everything, having a child. I mean, those are some pretty tough times.
Yeah.
And then to go full on and pour your heart and soul into a new project, one that you're not, so familiar with, but yet determined, and showing that perseverance and that determination. It makes you shine. And what you're building, the brand you're building, I mean, I just felt the love and the hope and
Thank
just the
you.
platform itself. It's incredible, Marlene. I mean, really.
Thank you. Thank you. And one of the other points that I really want to make, and thank you for bringing that up, is when you understand and you know the why of why you're doing things, that why should be your North Star. That
Mm.
why should be the one that brings you back in those terrible days when you're like, I want to give up. That's it. This is too much. Right? Because trust me, I've had those days, right? We've all had those days where, oh my God, that's it. If one more thing happens, right?
Oh, for sure. Those days happen all the time, unfortunately.
Yeah. So when you have your why very clear, then yeah.
That's my why, my mother. She's the only one that could interrupt me.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you have that why clear in your mind, you have clarity of where you want to go and why you want to go where you want to go. That's the clarity that have allowed me to keep moving, to keep forward, to, you know, and I want to take a step back and
Yeah,
acknowledge that pain is an important factor in the human being's life,
yeah,
right? We don't like to feel pain. We don't want to feel pain. It is not nice. It is not pretty. However, pain exists for a reason. It's
yeah.
like a signal where, Marleny, wake up. There's something that you need to do. There's something wrong. There's something
You
needs to
turn the
change.
pain into purpose, right?
Yes. Ooh, I love that. Right. How can you turn me into purpose? Pain is telling you.
Right, yeah,
Right. So
right.
when you are in the mud, and I'm speaking to everybody out there that is going through a difficult time, that is feeling the pain of whatever situation you're going through,
Yeah.
right? Take a moment to feel it.
Mm.
Take a moment to actually be present with the pain. And why do I say that? There's no other way than through.
Mm. That's
There's
true.
no other way. If you go around it, underneath it, over it, you try to jump it, you teletransport away from it, it's going to find you in some way, shape, or form. It's hiding somewhere in your body and in your mind,
Mm.
right? And if it
Yep.
hides in your body, it's going to come out. It could come out as a disease, as a health problem, as a however it expresses itself. If you don't give it space,
Yes. That's just so important, is giving it space. Wow. I mean, that's one of the things I've learned through my grief. It's like, people don't always know how to approach it. They want to help you. They want to be
yeah,
there for you. But, they always say, "Oh, there's no words," or "I'm so sorry." And it's beautiful that they care and they're doing that, but what you really need sometimes is you need someone to just hug you, or
yeah,
just hold space for you and just sit next to you while you absorb that pain and you kind of process it, and you let your body kind of move it out and heal from
yeah.
that pain. Because whatever form that pain is, whether it's a wound on the outside or a wound on the inside, it takes time to heal.
Absolutely. And everyone heals differently. I
Yes.
cannot say, listen, this is the cookie cutter way. There is no
Mm-mm.
cookie cutter
Nope.
way, right? Some people want to move away from the crowd. Some people want to be left alone. Some people should not be left alone. Some people, so it depends. That's where you should know yourself comes
Yeah.
into play, right? However, you did mention a very good point where not everybody knows how to hold space for other people.
No.
We're not really trained in society to really
Mm-mm.
learn how to hold space for people. You never know what people may be going through because they may be hiding it because they
Mm-hmm.
don't want to bother somebody else, or they don't want to, put any pressure, or they don't want to hear I told you so.
Well, yeah.
Right?
This is
Right?
true.
So it's important as well for us to, when we're talking about how to help other people when they're in the mud, just sometimes be there and just sometimes say nothing, just like I'm here.
That
I'm
is that is sometimes just enough. It's just the right thing. As you struggle and you get through things, I mean, just knowing that there is someone out there helping you carry the burden that you're carrying, or cares enough to just be a sounding board for you. You don't need them to solve your problems. Sometimes just sharing that space with you at that moment is enough.
absolutely. Sometimes that's more than enough.
Mhm.
Sometimes when you ask for somebody's opinion, or when somebody gives you their opinion when you didn't ask for it, sometimes that happens, right? I want people to remember that an opinion, what is an opinion? An opinion is the result or the conclusion that somebody came up with based on their past experience, based on their present reality, and based on their projected future, right? So
Wow.
you connect these three things. Just because you went through something in the past that shaped you and your experience, that doesn't mean that that necessarily has to be my experience,
Well, that's
right?
right. You're in control of you can't always control your outside surroundings. You can only control your reaction to
Yes.
those things.
Yes, absolutely. And you bring me to great point, right?
Good.
Thank you. um, your reaction. That's something very important too.
Yeah.
Going back to that point where I was thinking, when I was talking about feeling the pain, that's
Hmm.
part of the reason why you want to give some space to that pain, because it will allow you to evaluate the situation a little better, a little more realistic, if you will. Being present with the pain at this moment and telling yourself, okay, pain, I feel you. I know you're here. I'm going to allow you some space and time. But then you got to go,
That
right?
that is the key,
That's
because
the
too
key.
many of us say, "Oh, we self-sabotage." We just
Yeah.
we just beat ourselves up when we're in that state of mind.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, "Oh, I'm the worst mom," or "Oh, I'm the worst employee. I didn't hit my goals this month," or whatever, I did something wrong. And we're so quick to put ourselves down that it,
Absolutely.
it it just, that is such a great point. Could you say that again, please?
Absolutely. And I would even go further, right?
Good.
Into into saying that when you have something that you're going through and you give it that space, you create this energy, if you will, you're giving it that space, and then you say, okay, I'm ready to move on. What that
Mhm.
allows you to do is say, okay, I gave you time. Now I can't stay there forever. I have
Right.
to keep moving. Life continues. And if I allow myself to be in this space, I'm destroying myself. And therefore, I'm also destroying the possible vision and the possible things that I can do to help other people through my experience. Right.
Unbelievable. Yes, yes, yes.
So then I know you know what I'm talking about for
I
sure,
do.
firsthand, right?
Oh,
So
do I?
for those watching, Give yourself that time. Have some time with self. Have some introspective time, looking deep within your soul. Sometimes we're afraid of that,
Yeah.
right? But who
Oh,
can look deep in you other than you? Nobody else
nobody
can.
can. Which lets me, I have a really kind of good question that, like, when we think back to our younger selves and who we were, and the youth we were,
Yeah.
what would you tell the younger version of yourself? Let's say the teenager or the girl struggling through, trying to find friends or moving or, not having English as her first language. There's all sorts of struggles that you go through and you have insecurities. If you could go back in time now and find that girl, that impressionable, beautiful soul that was you back then, what would you tell her? What
I
piece of
love this
advice?
question. And last time when you asked me this question, I got very emotional because I would not tell her a single thing. I learned from her, right?
Mm.
I had a very beautiful epiphany not too long ago. And I was looking in the mirror. I think I was here in the office. And I really, with tears in my eyes, I looked in the mirror and I said, Marleny, thank you.
Oh,
Thank you, Marleny, because even though you're not perfect, even though you made your mistakes, even though you were feeling insecure, you were feeling this and that in a younger self, in a younger version. If it wasn't because of you, younger Marleny, I would not be here today.
amen, girl. Amen.
Yeah. And I'm looking back and looking at that younger self and looking at like an energetic girl that did not know anything about business, but she's brave, right? She's
Mhm.
she's a go-getter. She's happy, she's enthused, she's full of life and energy,
Yes.
right? And she does not allow any of the negativity around her to stop her. That's a badass girl,
Yeah, it is. Yes,
right?
it is.
So I'm looking at her and I'm like, you go, girl, thank you. I learned from her.
You
And I
did.
go back to that first day, Serena. I go back to that first day as my younger self that I was in business, the first day in business more than 15 years ago. I remember I was walking down a street. I lived in New York and
Mhm.
traveled to New Jersey. Okay. So many hours back and forth. And I was walking down the street. As I closed my eyes, I'm like feeling her. And I'm listening. I have my headphones on and I'm listening to one of my favorite songs and I'm feeling so good. I said, wow, I'm a new business owner. I'm gonna like the world is gonna be mine kind of energy.
That is
Right?
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. And I really, with tears in my eyes, I was thanking that Marlene because that Marlene had a lot of people telling her, don't do it. You're not good
Mhm.
enough. You're not going to succeed. You don't have experience. Even people that didn't wish me wrong, even people that wished me the best thing, but they didn't know any better.
No, and they
Right?
think they're doing right, but they're the naysayers, the negativity. They're feeding our own insecurities.
Right. And that Marlene closed her eyes and her ears to all of that negativity and continue forward. So, if anything, I am learning from her still.
That is so incredible,
Yeah.
so impactful. I mean, I hope the young people that are listening today really get inspired by that because it's so true. When you have that little bit of fire under you, you know, I have a friend that has got a really important saying, and he's like, can't is a lie. You can do anything. You may not want to, but you just have to try.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And even the word impossible, I know we've heard that, right?
Oh,
The word
sure.
impossible says, I'm possible,
Mm.
right? I'm possible. Now, when I speak to younger crowds, the first thing I say to them is, how bad do you want it?
Yes.
How bad do you want what you want? How bad do you want to be a force for good? How bad do you want to be an entrepreneur? How bad do you want to change life and change your life and others? How bad do you want it?
That's right.
Because at the end of the day, there's so many challenges and difficulties that are going to come in your way. There's so many rocks that are going to come right in front of you. You're going to trip over one. There's so much. And if
Well,
you are not strong in your why,
oh yeah.
you'll give up.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, look, take it from you. You are a single mom, an entrepreneur, an owner of a huge radio station, magazine, just a streaming service. You are a force to be reckoned with. How
Mhm.
do you juggle everything? I mean,
Oh,
I'm sure you have a couple of obstacles in your way.
a couple of them. um, that's a good question, right? And I will answer it in a few ways, and I'll explain why.
Okay.
Immediately, my response to that question, when you ask me, my immediate response is, I have no idea. Okay.
I'm sure.
I have no idea how I do it. I have no idea how I've survived. But the reality of matter is that I do have an idea. There's a system and a structure. And what that is knowing and understanding my why, where I'm going. My why is so strong. My why, there's a saying out there, and I know I'm going to butcher it. If your why is strong enough, it would withhold anyhow, anything, anything that could come, by. You will overcome it if your why is strong enough, right?
Wow. I feel
So
that
that's
here.
one. Yeah, yeah. And another is prioritizing, right? When you're a mom, as you very well know, your kids become your priority. Your kids are first. Of course, I understand that put your mask on and then, right? But
Yes,
after
yes,
you put your mask on, your first response is for your children. And
yes.
that changes things, right? That changes the order in which things are.
Oh, yeah.
So prioritizing, knowing what's important, knowing your why, which therefore would allow you to know how to prioritize. And sometimes, to be honest with you, sometimes while you are on the way to your destiny or your destination, you are going to have a period of time where there is a lot of chaos and a lot of, disbalance
Okay.
for a short period of time, as long as that is not forever.
But that's when you ask for help, right?
Right. Absolutely. So I always say there's people that can handle a lot more than others. There's people that can handle different ways. So
True.
knowing how much you can handle, right?
Yeah.
I already know when I'm hitting that point where, okay, Marleny, you are not superwoman.
Yes.
Calm down. Take two steps backwards for a minute, right? But for the most part, I can handle a lot,
And
right?
and because you can handle a lot, people expect a lot from you.
Oh,
Do you notice that?
oh my God! Thank you for bringing that. It's like you're bringing my mind. Get out of my mind.
Great minds think alike, you know?
One of the biggest mistakes that people often make, and I'm saying this, begging people, please, when you have a strong person or someone that seems to be strong from the outside, also check in on them.
Mm,
Don't go by, oh, she's strong or he's strong, he's got it or she's got it. Strong people need help too,
yes.
right? Sometimes we need for somebody to help us carry that weight, right?
Absolutely. Oh
So
gosh,
check
yes.
in on people, on everybody. But oftentimes we say, oh, they're strong enough. No, sometimes they have their weak moments too.
And
right?
it's, yes, and it's important that you just check in and you hold space for even people that are strong. It's true, or you offer to help, and they may say, "Oh, no, no, I'm fine," but it's
I do all the time. I
you
do
know
all the time.
it's really, it's incredible to know when you have people there. You have to have a community,
Yeah,
because it's you can't really do it alone. I've
right.
noticed that, and you don't always have all the answers, and sometimes it's just nice to talk and just
Yeah.
to communicate with someone who may have been through it.
Yes, absolutely. Now, on that same note, it is very important for us also to keep the right people close by. That
Yes.
does not mean that you have to ignore people. That does not mean that you have to cut people off your life.
Right.
However, boundaries, healthy boundaries,
Very important.
yes, especially when you're healing, right? Because when you are going through a difficult time, you're very vulnerable,
Yes.
right? You're very open and vulnerable, whether you see it or not. So
Yeah.
the people that you have around you will influence you in a very deep way.
Oh boy, you are hitting the nail on the head with that one. You
So,
know, it's
absolutely.
true.
And for me, I didn't have a lot of people around me. I've always been a loner, to be honest with you.
Oh,
Right? I'm it's funny because some people think that I'm an extrovert. I'm actually an introvert.
no way.
Yes, I am. Yes, so I recharge alone. I don't recharge in a big crowd. However, my superpower happens to be with the crowd, right?
That's
It's
awesome.
a very interesting kind of energy and synergy. However, that also goes back to knowing myself. If I know that I recharge alone, then that means that I need to take some time to introspect, that I need to take some time to spend alone and think and ponder and understand, right? And analyze what's going on. I'm very analytical. So I already know that that's how I react. And therefore, I allow myself that space.
That is
Now,
so important.
now I have this thing where I say, build your own sacred space. And what do I mean by that? For me, for example, I am a wine lover, right? And I love music and I love scents. I love perfume, right? So if I know that about myself, those moments where I'm sad, those moments where I'm down, those moments where I'm depressed, or those moments where I go to my sacred space, I put on some music, right? I put a candle light. I get myself in a happy mode or in a tranquil mode with tranquility, or it's interruption of pattern. I'm
Yes.
interrupting the pattern that is not serving me to go towards a different pattern that I know will change that vibration.
That is amazing advice. I mean,
Yeah.
that's beautiful. I mean, really, Marlene.
Thank
Oh my
you.
gosh. It reminds me when I used to be in my last career, when I'd have a really tough day, the stock markets were down, clients were flipping out. I would come home and I would turn on some music. I would pour myself a bath, a glass of wine, and I would just get in there and just soak away the day. And just by changing that vibration, that energy for me, I was able to emerge from that on a much better even keel where I can handle whatever was coming at me, you know?
Yes.
It's so true. Really. Wow. So what are your go-tos, for self-love
Oh.
and what do you do? Do you go on vacations? Do you go to the spa? What do you do for self-love?
Now,
Shopping.
well,
That's why I'm asking.
you know that I've shared this with you.
Yes.
I actually recognize that I do need more work in that area. I recognize that I do need more self care and self love and spending more time with self. Um, However, I have my little things that I do, and shopping is definitely one of them, right? Uh, it is very important, and there's a difference between using something as a vice
Yeah,
and using something as an interrupter of a bad energy or frequency, right?
that's true.
You have to be able to have self-control to
Yeah,
know when to stop, because there are people that are shopaholics, and if you and they go into shopping too much when they're depressed. There are people that are alcoholics. There are people that are, you know,
right.
there's so many different
Everything in
ways.
moderation, right? Everything in moderation.
So I always say that the shopping is not bad in and out of itself, it's how you're doing it.
Yeah.
The wine is not bad in and out of itself, is how you're using it,
Mm,
right? The
yeah,
all these things that could become addictive
right,
if you don't control yourself. So the key here is moderation and self-control,
right.
right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when I know that I'm a little, oh, this is one thing that I want to share, because I love to shop. Okay, this is my well, not vice, but
Your guilty
what
pleasure?
my guilty pleasure. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. So what I've learned to do you know those people that window shop?
Yes.
That's me. Even if
Uh,
I am uh, in the store or I'm doing it virtual, I first put it in my cart and then I decide, okay, do I really need this? Do I want it? Can I
mm.
excuse myself from getting it this time? Okay, maybe this time. Right.
So
So,
smart. So
yeah.
smart. Because the internet tries to get us to be impulsive. And,
Yes.
just like they have those things at the stores, the impulse buys. And a lot of people fall for that. I mean, I'm guilty of it myself. Oh, I like that dress, you know? Do I really need that dress? No, So I do what you do. I stick it in the cart and then I leave the
Yeah.
site and I go away. And if it doesn't draw me back, I don't buy it.
Right. It has to wow me.
Yes.
I'm like thinking about it. I can't do without it. It has to wow me. And if it
Yes,
doesn't wow me, then I'm not getting it.
exactly,
Right.
exactly.
It's
So
self
funny.
control.
Yeah, I think for Lent this year, I'm giving up online shopping, putting it to bed.
There you go. And you're saying something so critical. Every word that you're saying is leading me to the very next important thing that I want to say. So thank you.
Oh,
Um, but online, that's something that we also have to learn how to disconnect from.
yeah.
Disconnect yourself. I will share with you what happened to me during COVID. So remember, I lost everything. I was really depressed, right? I was already nervous. I was anxious. My heart was beating fast. Okay. So I found myself going on a back and forth and an argument back and forth on social media, about somebody that posted something racist.
Mm,
And I said, I looked at this and looked how I was reacting, and my heart was beating fast. I was nervous. I was waiting for the response so I can respond. I said, wait a minute, Marleny, what are you accomplishing from this? You're
mm.
making yourself nervous, right? And anxious. You're not going to change anything. You're not going to change that person's perspective. So, what are we doing here? We're wasting time and
Exactly.
energy, right? So, I had
Yeah.
to catch myself, right? And that's where I decided to disconnect. And that's after I disconnected, that's when that message in the shower came. Look how powerful that is,
Wow.
right?
That's
So
amazing.
when you disconnect from the external environment, you are able to connect from the to the spiritual and internal environment.
Wow. That's really powerful because it's true. The outside forces, they they block you, There are.
Yes.
They're blockers. They're energy blockers. You have energy blockers, energy suckers too,
Yes.
where people suck the life out of you, and
If
deplete
you
you.
allow them, yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. So today's social media world, keeps us busy, keeps us, we're not focused, we're all over the place. We are very, I'm talking generally speaking, right? We're very superficial today. We're looking at only the looks, and we're not, we need to back off from there and disconnect
Mhm.
for a minute to be able to connect to our true authentic self. And from
Absolutely.
that space, from the space of your true authentic self, now you can connect,
Yes.
right? And
Yeah.
I know that you follow me on that one. I know.
Oh, I do. I 100%, girl. 100%. It's so important. You have to set your boundaries,
Yes.
and I think that, wherever you are in your journey and, whenever you're going through, it ebbs and flows,
Yeah.
that's what life is. It's a journey, and it's not always gonna, be wine and roses. There's a lot of times where you're gonna have some serious issues that you have to deal with and overcome, and life lessons. And I just think that it's a testament to your resilience and your human spirit showing what you're made of, Marlene. I mean, it warms my heart to see how you handle things and how successful you are.
Thank
I,
you.
I
Well, it takes one to know one, right? Thank you. That means a lot to me, especially coming from you, somebody that has gone through very difficult things too, and have taken that and made so much good out of it. And at the end of the day, that's what it's about, right?
That's right. I mean, no matter how dark the road may seem, there's always a way to move forward. It's
Yes.
sometimes we just have to keep believing, keep fighting that good fight, and filling each other's buckets with love.
Yes.
I think it's so important.
Yes. Yes. And knowing that you are important, you matter, right? There's a
Yes.
reason. There is a reason why nobody that ever lived, nobody that's ever living now, and
Mhm.
nobody that will ever live in the future has your fingerprints.
That's for sure.
Can you
That's so
like,
true.
that's deep.
It's so crazy, right?
That's so deep. Nobody that lived, is living, or will ever live has your
Not even
fingerprint.
identical twins, right? They don't
Not
even have the same
even.
thing. I
Not
know.
even. So that tells you you are unique, you are important, you are different, you are here for a purpose. And no one else can do what you are supposed to do here on earth. Nobody else can do it for you,
Nope, that's for sure.
right? So
That's
it's
so
important.
true. Oh my gosh, so many amazing things. But you're bringing me to a point where I need to share one of my son Scotty's poems. And
Yes.
it's funny because the poem I chose to share is called Unique. And so
You know the spirit of Scotty is around.
I know, he's here. It's so crazy. But I'm going to share this with you.
Yeah.
It says, everybody is different. No one is the same. Then why do I treat people plain? I don't take the time to listen to them complain. I just pretend I understand their pain. I don't talk. I just take charge. Assume. No place for them to walk. I thought I treated everyone differently, especially those who I loved. But I rise, no one above. I keep those I know behind a gate, the gate I can't escape, the gate I can't shake, the gate that won't let me be my own shape. I ask myself, when was the last time you were true and didn't move so fast? I tell myself to slow down, keep your head down. I cover myself in confidence so others won't see the true me. I showered myself in all these pickup lines and lies. I don't even know if the real me is still alive.
It's very powerful because, I was in a conversation with somebody recently, and we were talking about how important it is for other people, for you not to place other people in a pedestal, because when you do, you have a stagnant image of somebody, and we are not stagnant. We
No.
are moving, changing, evolving, growing, shifting. So if somebody puts you in a pedestal, that is their perception of you. And oftentimes it's not our perception. So it puts pressure on other people, right? Not to be able to be unique, but now I have to be who you envision me to be.
That's so true. That it's true,
Right?
you know?
Yeah.
It's it's interesting. When people put you up here, you almost feel like you have to try
Live
and
up.
yeah, live up to their goals. I mean, it's so true, and meanwhile, if you're just true to yourself,
Yep.
you shine. You're beautiful. I mean, Marlene, I cannot even thank you enough for sharing your light and shining it down on us, because your story is so inspirational.
Thank you.
Oh my God, I've learned so much and I just feel empowered just being in your presence. I really do.
Aw.
It's so awesome.
Thank
Oh
you.
yeah.
Thank you so much.
I love having you on the show. And I want to ask you one last question. What should our listeners know about what's next for SOS and for Marleny Cruz, and how can they reach you if they want to? And let us know.
Yeah, that's a great question. SOS, I call it a living and breathing organism because it's alive, it's expanding, it's changing, it's growing. We have under SOS umbrella SOS Radio Live, SOS Podcast, SOS Magazine. We're relaunching sometime this year SOS TV Network, SOS Institute. There's so many aspects of what we're doing that is ever growing, ever evolving. SOS Community is another one. So I will invite people to visit our platforms. If you're listening to the show, you're already on one of them, sosradio.live. And take a look at our content, take a look at our purpose, and know that every person that is a part of the SOS family, like you are, Serina, is here for, working for the better good of humanity, is here creating content with the best, in mind for people. So I always want people to leave with that. You can check out our social media, sosradio.live, and you'll be able to find all our information there if you want to reach out to me, Marleny Cruz. I'm with my name, Marleny Cruz, on all the social media platforms.
That's so awesome. Thank you. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in today. This was one of our amazing episodes. Next week's going to be even another amazing episode. If you like the show, please share it. If you like, you can go on to sosradio.live, onto SOS Stories of Survivors, and you can hit the donate button if you want to support me. Um, I'm just so excited to be here and share this platform with everyone. Thank you all. And this is SOS, where survival sparks the soul. Mwah.